I'm cutting this. You're so stupid. You're so dumb. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea.
I think it is.
I'm glad my mental health is a joke to you.
Me too. I'm glad we have that relationship where we just joke around.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Customer Engagement Lab. I am your host, Travis Tyler, with my beautiful, voluptuous, newly haircutted co-host. You got your haircut last week.
I did.
Okay. I actually was cleaning up your hair clippings. This is Patrick Downs, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Downs.
Showing off the cut a little bit. Yep. Hello, everybody. Patrick Downs. I have other things about me that are interesting, too, besides the haircut. I can't think of them right now, but, but we'll get to them later, I'm sure.
In this week's episode, we are excited to talk about a few things we saw on LinkedIn this week. I saw a post with one of our colleagues, Jed. I'm calling you out, Jed.
Jebediah.
And you were in a thread where somebody this wasn't your post, Jed. You were a commenter on this post. And it was saying that using hey in a sales email is unprofessional.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I saw that.
Thoughts? Reactions?
I believe I called it the chain email of comments, and what I mean by that is it just makes no sense, and I just discount it immediately.
So you
no
disagree?
Value in that comment. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I disagree heavily.
Heavily and strongly disagree.
Yeah, because I feel like there's this whole thing in the sales community where people are like, you need to optimize for every word you use and every letter in the word.
Okay.
Say hello instead of hey. And
What is your opinion then on using emojis in subject lines and the open rates that SalesLoft has seen have been decreased because of emoji use?
I'm going to quote Scott Leese here. I went to the Surf and Sales convention in Costa Rica right before the pandemic. It was literally in February. My favorite thing he said was, if a scientist saw what we in sales thought was like statistics and science, they would laugh us out of the earth.
Okay.
So I think when we look at data, like, I ran a bunch of emails and they had emojis in the subject line. It's like, yeah, but there's other stuff in the email too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, anything can work. Sales is not really a science. Like, if you really think somebody's going to see an emoji in a subject line and that's going to turn them off enough times for that to matter, it's just human variance. I just think when we look at stuff like that, it's just silly to think about. Like, I need to optimize because every person's different.
Every brand is different too. So what you're selling, like, our company's name is PandaDoc.
Some people think that's dumb.
Correct.
Some people love it. Some people are like, that's hilarious, or like, it's really quirky and it represents you guys well. Other people think it's unprofessional. You cannot appease everybody.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be 4-quadrant all the time. It's impossible.
And a hard and fast rule in marketing is if you're trying to please everybody, you're gonna end up pleasing nobody.
That's the most important thing anyone's ever said.
Oh, okay.
Today's the Hyperbacast. That better be in the Spotify description.
Moving on to the next thing that we saw on LinkedIn this week. Another one that I'm blanking on. We had talked about it. What was it? When communicating with people you don't know that well, the appropriateness of using phrases like guys, man,
Yes.
dude, and if you are talking to a guy or a man and you call him man or dude, from a sales perspective, do you have an opinion on that one way or another? Or does this go back to the exact same thing we just talked about?
It's pretty similar, because personally, if someone said that to me, I would have no reaction. It would just be how I communicate myself. I think a lot of how people react to stuff is based on what they do. Like, if someone says, I don't like it when people say man to me, it's because they don't use that in their language. It really comes down to that. We really love ourselves and think that we do the right thing. So when we see people saying or doing things that we don't do, we're like, that can't be right because that's not the way I do it. I think it really comes down to that, especially if you look in LinkedIn comments. You can draw a straight line between that and almost every person that's like, I disagree. It's just because they don't do it.
And I think this goes back to what you said. Like, what I do, I think, is generally right. And what I try to do is not offend anyone.
Yeah.
If someone's going to be offended by me, I generally am not calling any female dude. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I understood what the word exclusive meant like an hour ago when I said it. I was like, yeah, that language is exclusive. And usually when you hear the word exclusive, you think like, oh, no one else can get in. It's like a special club. And I never thought about it being like actually describing people not being allowed in, being literally excluded. Exclusive means excluding people. I don't know why I've never put those things in my head together.
Mm-hmm.
I always took the meaning as like, oh, I'm the one that's allowed because it's exclusive. I never thought of the people that were like left out, and that's what actually defines the word.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say something like dude or man, you are literally excluding people from your language because that is not what they identify as.
What if they do identify as a dude or a man?
Then I think that's a different conversation than they just think that's unprofessional. But the issue is, I think when people use it in like mixed groups, like I was talking about having an issue with guy. I will say, hey guys, when I'm entering into a group of mixed genders, like that these are not all guys. But I've just gotten so used to saying it that it just slips out, and I apologize, but you know. That's why I've been saying y'all recently. Hey y'all.
Are you from the South?
New Hampshire.
You're from New Hampshire?
Yeah.
What would your friends and family from New Hampshire think of you saying y'all? They call you a poser?
They call me a poser?
Would they?
No, man. No. I'm trying so hard not to make fun of New Hampshire right now. Like, my biggest worry is that someone from my hometown watches this and hears me say something offensive.
Go for it. I want to hear you say something offensive about New Hampshire.
Just tune in for the After Dark.
Customer Engagement Lab After Dark.
After Dark. I wonder, like, yeah, tweet us. Tweet us in the comments. Tweet us in the subscription box if you think we should make a Patreon-only After Dark for the Customer Engagement Lab. Throw me an Instagram like. Is that how social media works?
No.
No.
Okay, so in our first episode where we interviewed our CEO, Makita Mikado, we decided to have a little bit of fun at the beginning of the episode where we just did some like rapid fire questions. And I thought it might be fun for our listeners if we did it to each other and they got to know us, the hosts, a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
What is the first or earliest memory that you can recall about your life?
I was 4 years old and I was in my backyard and I remember realizing what consciousness is and being like, oh, I have memory now and I'm aware of what's going on around me and I remember things from the past and I can explain them.
And you're like, I need to get into marketing.
And that was the moment I realized I was in the Matrix and I decided to take the red pill. Next question.
When was the last time you cried?
The last time I cried was I teared up. Man, this is gonna be polarizing.
Okay.
This is gonna be polarizing. And I know I'm gonna get made fun of for it. I'm okay with that.
I got so happy that the potential of making fun of you.
It's super lame. It's super lame as to why I cried.
Okay, tell me.
I cried listening to Justin Timberlake sing at Biden's inauguration. Because it just was super cool and was like, oh shit, this is really like a cool thing that's happening. And a lot of people might not like that because they're Trump fans or they're Republican or whatever. But yeah.
Was NSYNC like an important part of your childhood?
No.
Because it was to me.
Oh, sorry.
My first instinct was to laugh, but then I was like, I also cried.
Next question.
When's the last time you laughed so hard that you were in physical pain, and why is it right now?
Right now? Thinking about like 8-year-old Patrick being like, I want it that way.
I was more a bye kind of kid.
Is what I just saying Backstreet Boys?
Yeah. And that is the moment we found out that Travis is a fake fan.
Damn. Next question.
When did you realize you want to get into marketing?
I realized I wanted to get into marketing when I was less interested in the presentation I was about to give and more interested in the slide deck I was building for it.
What is a moment that you had in your career when you're like, I need to leave marketing?
What was a moment I had in my career when I realized I need to leave marketing?
Or that you felt like you might want to leave?
When I was helping to redesign a website at a previous company, and I had worked on a specific page for 14 hours, and only to have executive staff come in and tell me they don't like it, and it was just a matter of opinion.
Why does every other department hate sales, and why is it because they're jealous?
I would say it is the arrogance in sales.
See, jealous.
Yeah.
I thought so. That's all my questions.
There's the arrogance.
Yeah. Built in.
All right, Patrick. We're going to have to record the rest of this later because we are going to be joined by a special guest for this episode of the Customer Engagement Lab. Adam, a good longtime friend, who is the director of new business at Multiply, which is a creative agency. And Adam is going to be telling us his story. Adam is going to be talking to us about what works and what doesn't when it comes to outreach for him personally and for what he's receiving. And I might have also sent over a few voice memos to try to get Adam to buy PandaDoc. And we're going to get his take on it and see what he thinks.
Let's see if you still
Sound
got it
good?
in you. Yeah.
See if he's still what?
Let's see if you still got it in you.
Oh, the sales?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if it just disappeared like the end of Infinity War, just like a snap.
It's like a riding a bicycle. Oh. Adam, you are wearing a cardigan, and I am really excited to have you on the show.
Travis, Patrick, hello. Good morning, and thanks for having me.
You look great. You sound great, and we got to jump right into this. We're just going to jump right into this. We read a LinkedIn post this week that said to not have your podcast host tell his backstory because everybody just wants to get something of value, and then you can tell your story later.
Yeah. We prefer that you hide your complete identity. I don't want to know anything about you until the very end.
Like bag over my face, or I'm just not telling you about my life yet?
Preferably a bag, but if you don't have one, just putting your hands over your face will do.
Do not go get a bag. Do not go get a bag. You are beautiful, and we do want to see your face.
Put the bag on in post.
I saw somebody on LinkedIn talking about how they were using LinkedIn voice memos, and they were like, here's what I'm doing. And I was like, why don't I try to send in some LinkedIn voice memos to our podcast guest today? And I want to get a feel for if somebody were to actually, I can tell you, if somebody were to send me a voice memo, I would definitely listen to it, but I would probably not ever buy from them.
Why?
I don't know.
Would you
I'm
buy
not on
from
LinkedIn.
anybody?
I'm not on LinkedIn to buy stuff from people.
Okay.
So it's the
That's a
wrong
good
avenue
point.
to approach me on. It's the wrong channel. Adam, if you will be so kind as to open up your email, I sent you a few voice memos, and I think it would be great if you could play those for us now.
Hey, dude, I just need you to buy some PandaDoc from me. I'm a salesperson trying to sell some PandaDoc.
Okay, I think there should be a few more in there.
Hey, Adam. As the director of new business for Multiply, you're probably in charge of sending out a bunch of proposals for folks to buy your creative agency services. And you need those proposals to be top-notch, right? You need them to be engaging, professional, and you need to basically invite that prospect to sign up with you. I think PandaDoc could be a great resource for you if you all are looking for a document management tool that's going to allow for e-signatures and payments and data organization and syncing up with your CRM. If you guys are using Salesforce or HubSpot or anything like that, PandaDoc could be a great tool for you. I'd love to start the conversation and see if this is something you guys would like to look at.
God, I sound good. Do you? Sound great. I think there's one more.
Hey, Adam, I'm hitting up your LinkedIn inbox because I figured this would be a good way to reach out to you. You're a busy guy, I'm sure, as the director of new business for Multiply. And I noticed that you guys are selling creative services for some pretty big companies, some impressive brands and logos on your Rolodex there. Anyway, PandaDoc could be an excellent tool for bringing in even more new business and impressing them with your proposals. Look, I'm going for the hard sell here. I hope all is well with the new year. And if this sounds of any interest to you, give me a holler back and let's chat.
Okay, so point blank, instant reactions, thoughts, reflections. What are you sensing?
I'm sensing a fantastic voice. Just a super, super confident sales guy that is really wanting to bring in some new business. But the desperation is definitely there.
Adam, I have a question for you. When you say desperation, what do you mean?
You're like a police officer on the 30th of the month, pulling somebody over for going 7 over, right? It's about you. It's not about the bigger picture. And yeah, you made a few of those calls, not about me or what you could be doing for me, but they were very self-centered. I know that's, as you know, Travis, as you are as a person, but I don't think you should be bringing that into the workplace.
Ideally, what would you want to hear in a voice message?
Wait, are we being serious now? Because all of mine were jokes, except one I actually was trying to be like legitimate if I was selling Adam on.
I think if you have that like looking to network button enabled, I think that changes it for people. And maybe if they were to send a voice memo to somebody that they know is open to those types of conversations, it changes things. But like anything else, you need to know who you need to know your audience and who you're talking to. And you should not have the same message or approach for everybody. It's not a one size fits all, especially when it comes to sales. And the world is getting more and more and more and more niche focused. So not only, it's a funnel, right? You guys are selling PandaDoc, but why are you selling it? Who are you selling it to? What is that individual? I think potentially bringing up something that you find in research about that individual could be pretty key, just to show that you've done your homework.
So like in the one voice memo I sent you, I talked about your role. So I had done research on you're the director of new business. I found out, what it is you guys sell. You're a creative agency and you sell different creative services. And then I talked about different use cases that could be useful for stuff that you're doing in your day-to-day. Input. Yeah, give me your feedback.
Well, the issue is you just said that people don't go to LinkedIn to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that is a good sales message, why are we even structuring a message around sales if the people that are on there aren't there to buy anything? Why are we not going in with a different end goal? Like, what if I just want to put a voice to who I am, or get them to know me better, or show that I'm curious about them? And then when I reach out on other channels like phone and email, they have a better idea of who I actually am and who my company is.
And I think maybe the bigger picture is maybe a platform like LinkedIn is just not the route to go, anymore for a salesman on a product like PandaDoc.
When I get the sense that somebody's trying to connect with me to sell me something, but they're being coy about it, that bothers me even more.
It's horrible.
So like, for example, if someone were to be like putting on this facade that they want to become friends with me, and then only to like after a few hangouts like make a proposition, I'd feel slighted. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird wire's edge. I feel like, especially if you do it in the first meeting. Like, I've had situations where it's like, hey, do you want to just like get to know each other and share contacts and blah, blah, blah. I said, sure, that's fine. I had some time. And then I got in. And then the second we got in, sales pitch immediately.
I'd be pissed.
Like, that's just lying.
I've had people do that to me with like the MLM, multi-level marketing schemes.
Yeah.
Where it's like a friend from high school. And you're like, oh shit, yeah, I'll catch up with you. Let's have a beer.
And then they lock the door.
and I meant to share it with you guys, and I thought I took a screenshot of it, so I'm trying to find it. But it was super interesting, and Travis, actually, based on one of your copywriter, position LinkedIn posts that I saw the other day, and I think I told you that I was also going through. I think we had like 750 applicants to a copywriter position, a freelance copywriter position, and there was like 4 qualified people. And what somebody had done on LinkedIn, man, I thought I could have sworn I took a picture of it. But basically, this kid sent a manager or the CEO of this other agency a $50,000 Venmo request just to shock this guy of like, what is this? And then and then the comment was the kid's website and applying for the copywriter position. And there's a sense of creativity just right there. And clearly I'm denying this $50,000 request to pay you. But you just wowed me with some creativity. Nobody else that's applying for this position did that. And I think we're in this world again where LinkedIn is so inundated and has turned into, will be Facebook in 3 years. People are already getting so personal, and it's just not the platform it was 3 years ago, where you have to, yeah. And like I said earlier, it's turning into such a niche world. You have to find ways to be creative on your own, especially if you want something, because nobody has your back except you. And I just thought that was just such a spectacular way to stand out, of using something like Venmo to apply for a copywriter position. That not only does that show creativity, but again, he was the only one that did that without a doubt. And I just thought that was super impressive. Super impressive.
That's insane. I love that. Thoughts? Love it, hate it, like it?
You can cut this if it's inappropriate.
Go for it.
But I have an idea.
Okay.
What if we started an OnlyFans? And we gave people free subscriptions, and then when they subscribed, it was just a sales pitch.
A sales pitch of what?
Panadoc. I'm trying to be relevant to the kids.
That's not. I'm cutting this. You're so stupid. You're so dumb. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea.
I think it is.
I think the idea is correct. I think maybe, Travis, to your point, it's not onlyfans.com that you're utilizing.
Adam, I love you so much for trying to even mildly entertain such a terrible idea.
Look, they wouldn't have to pay for it.
You are the director of new business, but before you were the director of new business, you were the owner and operator of your own creative agency. I think your story is interesting because there are a lot of people who want to, but maybe don't have the guts to create their own company. And there's a very small percentage of people whose company does so well that then somebody purchases that company from out under them. So can you tell us the story a little bit and how it got you to like where you are today?
Umbrella Creative was a full service social media growth and content creation house. We were located in Denver. We ended up getting a lot of work from Multiply. They were a more traditional PR agency at the time, and just with, traditional PR work, somewhat dying out as print moves to digital, and just the whole experience is changing in terms of pitch angles and making sure you get product in front of the right editors and influencers, on and on. The CEO of Multiply, Dan Baum, was looking to add, some real insight and some real skill set and expertise to the social media side of what Multiply is today. So we ended up getting hired to do a lot of photography and a little bit of videography work for Multiply as contractors. Anywhere from influencer parties for some of their bourbon clients, to, pitch decks for potential clients. Struck up a really great relationship. Multiply ended up opening a new office. They're based in New York City. Ended up opening a new office in Denver, Colorado, in January of 19. So right around that time, Dan asked us to come over to their new office and take some headshots of the team and some photos of the new office, which we did, of course. he sat us down after and we had a little meeting, and he said, hey, been loving the work that you guys are doing as contractors at Umbrella. Like I just mentioned, we would love to build that skill set and that expertise in-house here at Multiply. How would you feel about essentially getting acquired and coming on board and having more full-time roles here at Multiply? We're just these young 26 and 27-year-old guys. We're keeping straight faces across the table. Like, yeah, no big deal. We're kicking each other. And then we leave that meeting like, we're in the parking lot, essentially jumping up and down. Like, what just happened? Umbrella Creative had only been a thing for a year and a half, couple of years. We're working with a lot of smaller startups. Granted, we were on a climb, never to pat myself on the back, but, we were traveling literally around the world, working with tourism boards and hotels and taking these local Boulder and Denver-based companies around the world with us and producing some great content. So, there was a little swag to us. And yeah, we get out to the parking lot after this meeting and we're just like, holy shit, what just happened? A few months of negotiations go by. We actually have one more international trip. So it's 2 a.m. for us, for Matt and I. We're in Tokyo, Japan, in this tiny, tiny little Airbnb. Another photographer friend that we had brought with us on that trip is sleeping in the living room. So Matt and I are crammed into this little Japanese bathroom. We're on a final phone call with Dan and his lawyers, slapping each other to stay awake, essentially, putting on one final good show. And, that call goes really well. And then by the end of May, early June of 2019, contracts are signed, and Matt and I are now full-time employees of Multiply. So yeah, a dream come true, something that we were definitely aspiring for, as we had started the brand. Never in a million years did we think that would happen in essentially under 2 years. But just goes to show, a lot of hard work and putting yourself out there, with a mix of the right place, right time. And you never know what could happen.
Patrick, Adam, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on today's Customer Engagement Lab podcast. And if you are interested in chatting more with Adam or learning more about what he does at Multiply, or you just want to connect with us, join us on LinkedIn. And that's all I've got. Any last thoughts, reflections, scathing rebuttals from either of you guys?
Just be yourself.
Yeah, as Patrick said, be yourself.
Adam, I really appreciate you. I love you, brother. And yeah, man, I think this is going to be a lot of fun for everybody to listen to. And you've got a lot going on over there, and you've done a lot. You lived a lot of life, and I really appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you guys very much. This was fun. All right, have a good day.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Customer Engagement Lab. For more of Travis and Patrick's chaotic energy, subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast player. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you would make our hearts smile if you left a super quick rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the show deserves. It'll take you 2 seconds, I promise. Until next time.